Honda is fully prepared. With the launch of the new CB500X 2022, a touring adventure motorcycle newest version that has upgraded two main features that many people have been waiting for. For the exterior design shape of the new Honda CB500X 2022, it remains the same as the previous version. Front brake discs, 296mm, wave shape, comes with a set of brake calipers of Nissan and has upgraded lightweight 19-inch alloy wheels. It still has strength to come. Besides that, another important highlight is the addition of an upside-down front suspension system has been added to enhance the ability to absorb shock from the surface to be more excellent. By choosing to use this front suspension service from famous brands such as Showa, a 41mm big piston with a rear suspension that can adjust the preload. Honda CB500X 2022 also has a new swing arm upgrade. Stronger but lighter. As for the engine, it comes in a 471cc inline twin engine that produces 46.9 horsepower at 8,600 rpm and 43 Nm of peak torque at 6,500 rpm. The new Honda CB500X 2022 will be available in new colors such as Grand Prix Red, Camp Red, Matte Gunpowder Black Metallic and Pearl Organic Green. By counting the upgrade this time, it's a very important upgrade for the Honda CB500X. Apart from this model, both the new CBR500R 2022 and new CB500F 2022 are also equipped with the same features. As for Thailand, it is expected to be officially launched in 2021. The 19 inches front wheel has been lightened, and a new radiator shaves an additional 100 grams without sacrificing performance. Tweaks to the fuel injection are also said to help boost bottom-end torque, and the weight distribution has been tweaked for a little more ballast over the front end. Although quite drastic changes on the face of it, the results of these revisions are subtle. Despite the new FI settings, the burbling engine feels much the same as before, gentle enough for novices and happily revved all day long. And all whilst returning more than an indicated 85 miles per gallon during certain sections of our ride. Through the bends, the new chassis elements work with the steel frame to provide a compassed cornering package with bags of feel in the wet or dry, despite its wide adventure bike bar position. Riding it along Scotland's iconic North Coast 500, it's hard to imagine a better bike for the job, with the only real criticism stemming from the basic switchgear and LCD dash, which looks like a cheap afterthought when compared to the TFT unit on the KTM 390 Adventure. Having to pay extra for a center stand feels a bit cheeky, too. Ride quality and brakes. Honda have gone to town updating the CB500X for 2022, adding non-adjustable Showa separate function big piston upside-down forks and replacing the 310mm single front brake setup for dual 296mm discs and two piston calipers. Adding to this is a 5.9 kg swing arm that shaves just over a kilo and adds a claimed 18% more lateral flex and torsional stiffness. The 5-stage preload adjustable rear shock has been revised to match the new forks, and the bike runs on semi-knobbly Dunlop Trail Max Mix Tour rubber. The 19 inches front wheel is now lighter too. Whilst numerical claims of increased stiffness at the rear are hard to quantify, the bike changes direction with predictable precision. There was nothing wrong with the old one's setup, but now it feels more stable holding a line at speed and flicking from one corner to the next like a lightweight roadster, never mind a raised adventure bike. Updated alongside the naked CB500F and fully fared CBR 500R, it's a more engaging riding experience, with the 19 inches front wheel and well-damped forks, providing excellent front-end feel, come rain or shine. You're also sat less in the bike and adopt a more commanding presence on the road. Complementing the compassed springs are the uprated brakes. Oddly, its 17 inches wheeled siblings, the CBR 500R and CB500F, both got sexier dual 4-piston radial calipers in their 2022 updates, but the X-axial mounted stoppers offer the best setup of the bunch. Squeeze on the 6-stage span adjustable brake lever and the front end doesn't dive like a pogo stick, working with the progressive calipers to provide controlled, novice-friendly stopping power, with no intrusion from the ABS. The taller seat height, wide bars and slightly heftier curb weight of 199 kilograms may be intimidating to some shorter riders. Engine. The 471cc parallel twin engine remains largely unchanged for 2022. It's a stressed member in the chassis and was actually made EUR-05 compliant back in 2020. Already producing 47 bhp, the performance cap for the A2 license class Honda have now fiddled with the fuel injection settings to improve low-end torque. They've also bolted in a slightly smaller radiator, which shaves a further 100 grams off the total weight. Producing a gravelly burble and spitting back at you with each blip of the throttle, the Uber Smooth unit still feels exactly the same as before, but this is no bad thing. It's nicely fueled, and the light gear change is crisp heading either up or down the 6-speed box, helped further by the slipper clutch. It won't pull your arms off as a new rider, and it needs to be worked hard to get the best out of it when you fancy having some fun. It'll cruise in top gear all day long and would have no problem ferrying a rider and luggage into Europe for a spot of light touring. Whether it would do the same with a passenger remains to be seen. It's also fabulously frugal and actually returned a claimed 85.4 miles per gallon on the dash on parts of our ride, despite this tester making no concerted effort to save fuel. What's more, with a bit more frontal area and a large screen sheltering the rider from the wind, the rumbly soundtrack remains audible at speed, popping and banging off the throttle and adding to the grin factor. This is something that's lost above 65 miles per hour on the smaller CBR and CBF. Reliability and build quality. It's hard to judge the CB500XS build quality and reliability so early on, however, because much of the 2022 model is carried over from the 2019 update. MCN owners' reviews paint a fairly good picture. The old bike scores an average of 4.75 stars, with only one owner knocking off a star for a sticky chain. One reviewer even spoke of owning 3 in the past, with no complaints for any. Our 3-day, 500-mile test gave no indication that the new model would perform any differently. However, the polished headers take the brunt of the road fling, so may lose some of their gleam over time. Along a country road, it's hard to fault, and it'll cruise all day in top smashing out hours of motorway drudgery and comfort. Around town it's predictable too and narrow enough to get through the traffic. That said,